And there you have it. The markets are officially closed on this Friday, January 10th. Welcome, investors and traders. I'm 𝐊𝐞𝐲 and this is a daily candle chart of the Dow Jones Industrial Average ETF, ticker symbol DIA. The Dow closed down almost 700 points, and it was not pretty for the bulls today. If you've been following along with my market reports over the recent months, you'll know that I had been warning the general public about this. Remember, I publish quite a few articles on a weekly basis on Zero Hedge, and I've been putting out the warnings to the general public and to our members especially. Congratulations to all of our members who did a good job today making money on the way down. We are very excited about this market because if you're a buy and hold investor, there are some things that you can do to protect your account, and not only protect against further loss on the downside, but you could actually make money if you learn how to trade options and hedge your positions accordingly. So going to the charts right here, you can see we had this big red candle. We came very close to hitting that upside target. You may have caught that on my midweek report. And now that we are closed below this support level right here, I am expecting the prices to drop even further next week. Could we get a little bit of a bounce in the early trading days, maybe Monday or Tuesday? Yes, that could happen, but I am going to the downside for another test of this support level down here from the lows in November. So my downside target for DIA is 415.35. Again, 415.35. That's about another 400 points to the downside before we find any support. So keep your eyes on the charts. Looking at IWM, you could see that, again, we came within pennies of hitting that upside target last week. And then on the midweek report, I said that today I would most likely be drawing my targets to the downside. Again, there's a link in the description box to the midweek report so you could hear exactly what I said on Wednesday and there's no confusion. Now, we did gap down a little bit here today on IWM, so this is going to be a little bit different. I think we could go up on Monday to fill that gap, and then I think we're going right back into the downward pressure to set new lows. So I'm putting a two-part forecast on IWM, 219.42 to the upside to fill this gap, and then right back down to 214.59 to take out the lows that we see from today. Keep in mind that if you're looking at the weekly chart, there is a bearish engulfing candle now down below the 20-week moving average. That's extremely bearish. When you see a bearish engulfing at a resistance point, which is, again, acting as that moving average, you're most likely going to see some selling pressure coming in to the market. So that's IWM. Then I'm going to back out and I want to show you some of the moving averages and how they're trending lower as well. Looking at the Qs, you can see that we have that red candle right there on higher volume. Remember, when the volume is increasing on the way down, that's telling us that the sellers are motivated. We did hit last week's upside target right there at 525.58. So we score that on the upside. Downside target for next week is moving lower to these lows from what we found here in November on November 27th. So my downside target is 501.70 for 𝐞𝐞𝐞. Our option traders made some adjustments today to take in some cash, and we are continuing to work our diagonal calendar put spreads on the major market ETFs. And we have some other positions that we're taking, other bearish positions, I should say, in the cryptocurrency sector. So again, if you're interested in becoming a member, even just for a couple of weeks as the free membership is available, you'll have access to these trade publications that I put out, and you'll be able to see exactly how we're making money. So don't be shy about that. All you have to do is click on the link in the description box to get your 2-week free trial. There is no obligations, no strings, no credit cards, nothing needed. You just sign up. At the end of that 2 weeks, we leave it up to you whether or not you want to continue. But there's no like trickery going on where you have to unenroll once you enroll. It's totally up to you, no pressure. And we're very, very happy with the response that we've had over the previous weeks. The number of subscribers that are coming into our channel are on the rise. Thanks to all of you, by the way, for sharing and liking the videos. So thank you for that. And as we continue to build the number of subscribers, we're picking up momentum on YouTube as well, especially as people make comments. So if you have a comment you want to make, or if you have a stock you want me to look at maybe next week, put it in the comments field below, and I'll take a look and see if we have time to look at that in the next report. So again, to reiterate, downside target, 𝐞𝐞𝐬 is 501.70. Looking at the SPY, the S&P 500 ETF, you can see we did hit the upside target from last week's report right there perfectly at 597.99. This is a big red candle, again, on higher volume, so I am going to go lower to fill the gap down here. We have an open gap, still open on SPY at 576.74. So I'm going to 576.51 just to go a little bit over that gap fill point. So that's going to be my target for next week. Again, 576.51. You swing traders out there who have been following along on the free YouTube channel, hopefully you're making money positioning yourself based on these targets that I've set. You can see that these targets are in place and I keep them there. So in other words, when I draw a downside target like I did here, and then we have another downside target that was hit, that's a target hit, that's a target hit, upside target hit, downside target hit, upside target hit. You get the point. This is the evidence of how accurate the charts are, and we're still tracking an 82% hit rate on our targets for not just the general markets, but for individual stocks as well. Every Wednesday, I go over at least 50 to 60 stocks with our members, and I set targets on those individual stocks as well. So those stocks are also included in the 82.2%, to be exact, 82.2% hit rate that we're currently tracking. So downside target again for SPY is going to be down there at 576.51. Now let's take a look at the VIX, and then I'm going to back it up a little bit. I do believe, now this is going to be pretty aggressive, but I'm going all the way up to an aggressive target on the VIX right around 27. Now I'm going to make that exactly at 27, so I'm going to adjust that if you don't mind here. Going right to 27 on the VIX. It's not going to do it right away, but I do think that we are going to see much higher prices on the VIX percentage-wise, especially so for those who are trading the VIX through UVXY or VXX. Keep that in mind. Now that target is going to match very closely to the highs that we saw back here in December. I think we're going to go up there, test the highs, maybe pull back a little bit. But that's exciting news for our option trades, because as the volatility increases, so does the premium on the options that we're selling. So what that means for the option traders that are rolling month to month, collecting these cash credits, as the volatility goes up and as interest rates go up, which I'll get to in a moment, that increases the premium that we get to collect each and every month when we sell options against our spreads. So that is the VIX. Now I want to show you something here on the moving averages. Look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. This is the DIA. You see that blue line? That is the 20-period moving average. And that 20-period moving average is now crossing below the 50. And the price action is dropping quite nicely below the 100-day moving average, which is that red line. Right now, if I go to IWM, you're going to see something very similar, except that the 20-period moving average here in that blue line is about to cross below the 100-day, and we are flirting with the 200-day moving average. It's been a while since that's happened, but folks, pay very close attention. I've been telling people to pay more attention to the transports here, you could see that the 20-period moving average is dropping below the 50, below the 100. And look at that. We have a bearish engulfing candle right at the 200-period moving average. So when the prices start dropping below the 200-day moving average, a lot of these funds have it written into their prospectus with regard to risk management that they're going to start lightening up on positions as major markets in these ETFs and indices start to drop and trade below the 200-day moving average. That's a pretty big deal that you have to pay very close attention to. You know, we were looking at Bitcoin, and I'm going to make another comment on that. If I look at /BTC, looking at these moving averages, we'll look at that 20-period moving average starting to turn around and moving closer and closer to the 50-period moving average. Once that moving average, the 20, crosses below the 50, you're going to see, again, a lot of selling pressure coming into Bitcoin. I'm still bullish on silver. I'm still bullish on gold. I'm still bullish on the miners. Oil has been going up nicely. I have been bullish on the oils. We are starting to take some profits and cash out from some of our positions like we have in CVX and some of the other energy stocks. But the charts are our guide. That is what we're using. And remember, I use the 7-point trading checklist. I've developed this for all of our members. And it's fairly simple once you get to know what the signals are. Basically, we measure the buy pressure versus the sell pressure in the market. So for instance, if I just showed you a bearish engulfing candle, which is one that we have highlighted here, a bearish engulfing candle would put us with a check mark on the bearish side. If the volume is increasing on the way down, which we are seeing that happen today especially, that is telling us the sellers are becoming more motivated. You see, then when we look at the moving averages and we look at divergences and crossovers and such, you could see that the bearish signals are stacking up. So it makes it a lot easier to look at the charts and figure out which way the signals are pointing, so there's no guesswork. And I tell people quite a bit, turn off the television, turn on your charts, and you're going to do a lot better with your own forecasting. Now, like I said before, I write weekly articles for Zero Hedge, and I have been putting out the warning signs. If you look at the article that went out just last Monday, I put the warning out there. The week before that, I put down the final countdown to collapse. You know, it's not like I'm hiding this at all. Telling people to watch out below. I'm telling people how to use the 7-point trading checklist. Make this very, very public. So if you want to follow along, just subscribe as a free member, or you can catch us on Zero Hedge on a weekly basis, usually Monday morning. The articles are put out there. And of course, stay tuned to YouTube by hitting the subscribe button and clicking on that little notification bell. You'll get my videos as they're published. So there's a lot of free information out there for you to learn from, and we're not going away anytime soon. We're in for the duration. My passion is to teach people how to read the charts, and I hope you're enjoying all of this. Now, construction job openings dropped 178,000 year over year in November to 276,000. Look at this, dropping like a rock. That is not a good thing for the economy. That's very recessionary. So what I'm doing is I'm helping our viewers here especially cut through the jargon and get to the meat of what's actually happening. Because like I said, if you're watching the financial programs, they're going to be cheerleaders for the market to try to get more buyers to come in on the big down days. I'm telling people, learn how to make money on the way down and you won't be disappointed. Now, another thing that's putting the kibosh on higher prices in the market is that mortgage rates are going up, but interest rates are going up because the bond market is going down. The bond market has a mind of its own, and it could care less about what the Fed has been doing. The Fed is telling us, or has told us in the past, remember, that the inflation was transitory. So they tried lowering rates by 25 basis points in the last round of cuts. And what happened to the bond market? They completely thumbed their nose at the Fed, saying, we don't care what you're going to do on the Fed fund rate. We're going to keep dropping the bonds and we're going to keep raising rates. That's exactly what's happening. So there is a lot of confidence lost in the Fed. And the Fed is coming out with comments that are not looking very good for future rate cuts. In fact, they're pushing this all out to October now. And you have to understand that a lot of the real estate that's being refinanced over the coming months is going to have to be refinanced at higher rates, which makes the cost of carrying properties and the cost of rents going up over time. Again, that is not going to help companies become more profitable because the expenses are racking up. Folks, I am very, very excited about what's going on in the market. Just make sure you're focused on the charts, you're pulling the emotions away from your decision-making process, and make sure that you're learning how to at least trade basic strategies that have low risk attached to it. And stay tuned to Sticky Trades. Just keep liking and following and commenting, and I will be back with you on the next video. Thank you so much, folks. Have a great weekend. So long.